I go to presidentandrewconway.org. You can see my 10 presidential missions, my must-fix now list. I'm just going to go over it with you here. Number one, okay, you've been following me this whole time. This is something I'm very passionate about, is the money supply, which affects all socio and economic classes throughout the world, is the American dollar, okay? So number one mission as president is fix the fraudulent money supply, and we hold the banks accountable for defrauding us. I mean, serious crimes they commit every night when we go to sleep, okay? Number two, clean up our food supply by removing harmful chemicals. Now, if you've been following the 3M case about in Minnesota here, a lot of people near the 3M plant headquarters, they get cancer at a higher rate, okay, due to the chemicals that 3M puts into the water supply, either by accident or intentionally, one of the two, okay. And then another company, um, the DuPonts. Okay, there was a huge movie about, I think it was called Poison Waters. There was a huge Supreme Court case, an environmental case about it in the 70s. And it stated uh, basically what the U.S. Department of Agriculture Animal Plant Inspection Service, or sorry, the federal government, um, the courts ruled with these greasy companies that literally poison us and give us cancer. The court protected the corporation compared to the entire state of Ohio. That's who the court sided with. Now, do you think there's conflicts of interest with this court decision? Okay, that's what we need to be asking. Like, who's this judge friends with? That's what I would be asking, because when they submit this lawsuit, I mean, they have proof. I mean, like actual tests of the water, and it shows these chemicals are in there. And the reason why the appeals court ruled with the corporations is because he said there was too many corporations to go after. Basically, that was his decision. And the lead plaintiff in the class action lawsuit for the state of Ohio, meaning every citizen in Ohio, okay, he wasn't descriptive enough. I mean, he was very descriptive. He gave water. He gave actual samples of the tests of waters. He listed the major companies in Ohio that produce these. They make the chemicals that go in our water. Okay, and the judge sided with the corporation. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Okay. Um, and in the 70s, basically the same Supreme Court case was brought up, but the people won. Now, it wasn't as big as class action, okay, and it was in the 70s. We probably needed to print some inflation away. But this judge, the reason he gave was the scope. It was too big of scope. He didn't want to work hard, basically. He didn't want to go after the corporations because it's hard work to take down giant corporations. It is very hard work. You need to be a very good team, and I don't think the judge saw that he had a good team. Basically, when he even let's say the state of Ohio residents won this case, they each would have got compensated for it, right, by these corporations, okay, which would have been fair, okay, or the right thing to do is what we would call it, the right thing to do, and that's what we need to find more of in America, okay. So the hat trick number 3, we're going to clean up the water supply. If you go look at the water towers in all these townships, cities, or incorporations, basically some towns are incorporated or corporations, okay, the water towers that there's water that sits up there, just go do this for me today. Research what's in your water tower. What chemicals are in my water tower? Are they good for me or are they bad for me? It's that simple, okay? Number 4, simplify the energy supply with a business trust for all American citizens. So if you've ever heard of the Rockefellers, okay, they are a rich industrialist oil family, the richest family, one of them in the world, okay, and he was smart, the patriarch of this family, okay, he started Standard Oil Company, which they still exist today, okay, there still exists. People think they shut down. They're basically the ones who invented the shell game. Okay, so if we want to go back to my mission number 3 about fixing the water supply, there's another reason that the judges should have went after these corporations is because they're all owned by the same people. I mean, every corporation in America. Okay, remember the pyramid scheme. Okay, or the shell game. It's all follow the money. It gets connected to very few multinational companies. Okay, so for example, a business trust for all Americans. Go back to number 4 here. Meaning we get free. We go to the gas station. It's free for us because we were born naturally on this planet, this Earth. Okay, same thing with that gas is naturally on this Earth. Now there was a Rockefeller family that came around and said we're going to start charging for that naturally occurring substance, and we're going to charge these naturally occurring substance to use it. Ponzi scheme, basically, but they call it a business trust. The business trust gave the Rockefeller family control over the entire, all energy companies in America are controlled by this trust. Okay? And they get their energy for free. They get their oil for free. They don't pay for it. Okay? So that's all we need to. It's that simple to do free energy for every single American. You go to the gas station, you get free gas. Like nothing would have logistically, manufacturing, supply. Like nothing would have to change at all. No huge change other than we put every American citizen inside a energy or oil, gas, or electric business trust. That's how they're controlled right now, but they just charge us money for it, okay? So all we have to do is put each American citizen, once they're born, they're gonna go into, we can call it whatever we want, the American not Ponzi scheme business trust. We call it that, okay? And then we all get free energy. Okay, expand our access to classified information. Now, when I say classified information, I'm not talking black budget, redacted documents. I'm just talking like, can we see what the CEOs are looking at of these corporations that control the news and information flow? Can I at least see what's on his desk? Okay, like why is he deciding to put this story on the news? It's examples like that. Okay, and obviously we should declassify a lot of documents, but we need more access and an expanded information supply. Meaning we only 90% of information in the world has come from 6 different companies. Think about that for a second. So the 90% of the information, symbolism, or imprints your neural circuit has received, it's come from 6 different multinational corporations. Okay, another Ponzi scheme. Okay, fix the blood supply, the American Red Cross. Okay, I urge you to ask these 2 questions. Why are people constantly having to give blood? We're not, I mean, the Army and the military, they have their own blood supply. And we always say it's for like soldiers or for war. It's not. Okay, I want you to ask these questions. Where does all the blood supply go? Who does it go to? Which corporations run the supply chain of it? Okay, American Red Cross. Okay, and why do they do it? Like why do they drive around the country in these buses like little mosquitoes, draining people with their blood? Now, do you know if you've ever went on an American Red Cross bus and you donated your blood plasma? Okay, do you know where the final destination of your own bodily fluid goes? Do you ever ask, where's my blood going? Who's this going to? No. And they don't want you asking those questions because you'll vomit. Okay, so I urge you to look into the American blood supply and money supply. Okay. No more American Red Cross. Okay, there are some dirty dogs too. Okay, number 7, infrastructure overhaul. Okay, I'm going to pick on the concrete workers here. Okay, and the road builders. Another Ponzi scheme. Okay. For example, have you ever been to a nice skate park? Okay. The cement they use is very nice, isn't it? It lasts forever. Skate parks, cement, concrete skate parks, they last for a lot longer than roads do. Okay. Same thing with churches. How come those buildings, okay, they last for thousands of years. No cracks, nothing. How is that possible? It's because of the formula of cement or concrete they're using to build these infrastructures. It's quality. I mean, they know what the good product is compared to the bad, and there's no price difference. It's literally formulating the cement differently. You know what I mean? There should be no, well, the roads would cost more if we put better cement. No, it wouldn't. It's just a different formula of the chemicals that go in to make the cement. Okay, and you just need to tweak it a little bit. Um, and we all know, if you live in Minnesota, after a winter has passed, you see how many potholes there are. I mean, every single year. It's because the, I'll say the construction industry, it's a huge Ponzi scheme. Okay, a Ponzi scheme. Uh, Here's how easy way you can tell this: the shingles on your home, with as much advances we've made in technology, okay, the basically all the materials that go in a average household in America, they're crap. Like the shingles on your house, they have not changed the design, okay, of shingles for thousands of years. Okay, it's for the insurance companies to come around, okay, or the storm chasers, and literally defraud you. Okay, there's a million. You could put 10 high school smart kids that love learning and testing and doing experiments in a room, and within a couple days, they will find a better material. Okay, they will find a better compound to do shingles. Okay, now all that all that took was just a couple days looking at a modern what shingles are today, and they're asking questions of how can we make it better. Okay, there's a reason why they don't make shingles better, because and you can go read about there's like what do you call it, nomenclature, I'll call it, about shingles, how they kind of like taunt us with it. And same thing with the roads. Okay, I mean, we have bridges collapsing. If you live in Minnesota, we had an actual bridge that collapsed. That should tell you we're not doing a very good job in our infrastructure, and we're not using the best materials. Okay, um, our roads fall apart about every 5 years. If you live in a community or a suburb, you know your pathways, they crack. I mean, as soon as they redo that with pine tar, they crack within like a year by design. Okay, so they can keep coming back for more. Okay, if they just improve the compound in our asphalt and our concrete to the same compounds they use at skate parks or churches, and they use that on our roads, we'd have less construction. Okay, because they'd come back about every 5 years to redo roads. It would be probably like 20, 30 years. You won't have to redo that road. So, and it's not that much of a difference. It's just the big construction executives, they lose out on a lot of money. Okay, so it's pure greed why our roads are shit. Why basically the entire economy is going to shit right now. Okay, pure greed. Okay, medical overhaul. Okay, the American Medical Association, okay, is owned and funded by the Rockefeller family. Now they're the same family right over here on mission number 7 that controls our energy supply. They also control the medical industry too. Okay, just go look at the RockefellerInstitute.edu. Okay, and they've hired top Nazi German scientists to run a lot of their research and development programs. They've also brought actual Nazis that were on war trial and war crime trials over to work for our government. Okay, so I want you to read the book by Annie Jacobson. Is a New York Times bestseller. You don't need to read much of it. Just literally go to the index, and you can see all these crazy things that the Rockefeller Institute and the Rockefeller Medical Institute is accountable for. Okay, now here's here's a common sense way to tell you how our medical system is a Ponzi scheme too. The American population is in an actual decline. Okay, meaning there's more people dying than being born. Okay, if you go look at, for example, right outside this street, there's a brand new hospital being built. Okay, and there's brand new hospitals being built almost in every county in Minnesota. Well, why? How could that be if the population is in decline? Okay, then the hospitals should be in decline too. You know what I mean? Because there's less people. It's like they want us in the hospitals or something. You know what I mean? It's like they want people in hospitals and they want them to stay there. Okay, so that's common sense logic. We should need less hospitals if our medical system was actually working. That's just how you. It's that easy to figure out. Okay, um, and this ties in number 9, the insurance. So we need to get rid of the American. We need to redo American medicine. I mean, top to bottom. We need to put good people with good hearts in charge, not people who are connected to Nazi war crimes, like the Rockefellers and the American Red Cross and many pharmaceutical corporations. Okay. Number 9, end the insurance scheme. Do you ever ask yourself, why do I have insurance? That's a very good question to ask. It's probably the biggest Ponzi scheme there is. Okay. You don't need it. You pay less out of your paycheck. Okay. If you're a healthy, fit person, okay, even if you're not, even if you were a bigger woman like my mom, okay, you would pay less for your hospital visits, okay, the full year without having insurance. That is how big of a Ponzi scheme is it. It is. Now, you can go. They don't want you to know this, but you can go buy private insurance on your own at these huge insurance brokerages, like Aflac, for example. They sell cancer insurance for like $29 a month, like a huge family plan. You can get a cancer. If you're a healthy person, like you can get cancer. Just if I get cancer, I'm covered fully. Okay, and they don't want you to know that. Okay, that's why it comes directly out of your paycheck, your insurance premium, and it goes up every single year. Okay, so and there's no reason why they need to take that money. Okay, there really isn't. There's no reason why they need to keep increasing the fees for insurance and medical costs. Okay, well there is. They have to keep up with inflation, but then they get greed, right? And they want to make more profits. Okay, and they keep raising prices. So you'd pay less for 1 year, okay, out of your paychecks if you did not do insurance and you just did a regular hospital. If you went to the hospital 3 times that year for just a regular checkup, you would pay I mean, tens of thousands of dollars less out of your paycheck would come out if you selected to not do insurance. Okay, so same thing when I'm talking about shingles. Who's the first person or the first sector to get their hands on your house? It's the insurance companies. I mean, loads of monies are exchanged just by shingles. Okay, and it's another way they inflate our money. Okay, so insurance companies, we're gonna actually we're gonna hold you accountable because you defraud us too. Okay, life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, medical insurance. You know what I mean? Why do we need so many insurance? Why haven't you guys just figured out, you know what? We're going to do one lump insurance product. This is going to cover you for everything. How come you haven't been that nice and done that for us yet? Why do you have to have insurance on every single product? Okay? Doesn't make sense. It's not logical. Okay, number 10, reduce government waste and remove wasteful agencies solely created to print more United States dollars, like the Register of the Treasury, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, Office of the Government Ethics, okay, Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity, United States Mint, United States Treasury, National Credit Union Administration, the Federal Reserve System, the Federal Audit Clearinghouse, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the Federal Farm Credit Bank, Federal Farm Credit Banks, Funding Corporation, Federal Farm Credit System, the Federal Home Loan Bank, There's just so many organizations we don't need. Okay, like what are these people doing? Okay, the other fun fact I learned about national emergency. The United States, we've been in a national emergency. We have not come off of it, meaning that's how they can keep printing money for the war. Okay, we've been in a national emergency since 1941. Okay, National emergency due to we were scared the Nazis were going to take over. That's why we did that national. We haven't taken our foot off that national emergency ever since. Okay, so keep that in mind. Number 11, this is a special one just to the ladies in America. Since the men who wrote our founding documents, they didn't care about women and they thought of women lesser. Okay, they didn't even grant you freedoms in the Constitution. Women were not included until later. It had to be amended. Okay, so ladies, I found a clause where I can give you all titles of nobility. You become noble class, meaning you receive no more bills. That's what the noble class is. They don't receive any bills, or they don't have to pay for anything. So ladies in America, we're going to get you taken care of. All females, no matter your age, from birth until you head topside, you're going to have a title of nobility, me ladies. Something our founding fathers and these boys clubs, they don't want you to have. Okay? Now, they should have never put that titles of nobility in the Constitution because I found it. And then I found how the men who wrote our Constitution, the Brotherhood, or we'll call them, okay, they do not care about women. And they especially don't want women in charge is because women are by design smarter than men. That's what the men are really scared of. Because like, for example, everything's run by men usually, for the most part in society. We need to flip that. Let's see how the women do. Should we give them an opportunity, men, to lead? They might actually get kids fed. They might actually make sure kids are clothed. Okay. They might make sure kids aren't homeless, unlike these men. Okay. So, ladies, I got you. You all are now noble American females. You're noble. Okay. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. I have 4 daughters. Okay. So I'm I don't know what you call it. I have a special interest in females, okay? Because I finally realized how bad you girls have it. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, ladies. So I got you. And then number 12, stand up and fight for America, okay? Which I'm willing to take a beating for you, which I've been doing for like the last 2 years. But that's my mission: is protect women and children, okay? Like we should be doing. We should have put the women and children in castles a long time ago, man. You know what I mean? And we go looking for dinner. So that's my little spiel for today. That's my 10 presidential missions or must-fix nows, okay? It's basically holding people accountable and doing the right thing, which we've lost our moral compass as a society to even speak up about anything. Like, people are scared to speak up about the right thing, okay? I'll finish with this. There was a teacher, and he had a classroom full of 30 kids. Okay, there's a pet fish bowl. Okay, he had a fish. Okay, that he set on the front desk. He filled the water up extra high, so the fish would be able to jump out of the water. Okay, and he set the fish bowl on the desk, and he said, "I'm gonna walk down to the principal's office and get a piece of paper, and when I come back, anybody that talked or had anybody that stood up, anybody that got out of their desk, you're going to be given a detention, and I'm going to send you to the principal's office." So the teacher leaves, okay? The class is sitting there, all 30 kids, nobody moves, and then the fish jumps out of the fish bowl, okay? Now keep in mind, the teacher just told the class, if anybody gets up, you're going to get a detention, okay? This little girl, after she waited a couple seconds, she finally, in her mind, she goes, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to go save that fish's life. She took the fish off the floor, put it back in the fish bowl, okay, and the teacher walks back in the room, okay, and catches her and told her to go sit down. And so the teacher asked the class, I forget the exact story, but along the lines of, why do you think I'm not going to send her? Why do you think I'm not going to send her down to the principal's office for detention? And the teacher said, it's because she did the right thing. She disobeyed the teacher's orders. She wasn't obedient, okay? Because she knew in her mind to save that fish's life was the right thing to do, okay? And she never received detention for it. And she was willing to receive a detention and get in trouble for doing the right thing. which we kind of need to do as a society. Like we should kind of like we should put our differences aside, like whatever they, however big or small they may be, okay, and find the right thing to do for children and families across this country, okay, especially like child trafficking. Like imagine if you were a child getting trafficked across America as a sex slave. I mean, is that right or wrong? That's wrong. Like, and nobody talks about it. That's how brainwashed we are. So, and it's all over. It's in your own communities. It's in every town. That's how big it's become because we've lost our moral compass to tell right from wrong. It's that simple.